Hey, it's Jennifer. All right. One of the questions that I get asked the most is I just got thrown off. Like I feel like I've just been taken out. I feel like I'm off kilter or, I was bipping along. I was just having a great time. I was having a great week or I was having a great day. And all of a sudden I felt this wave, but I don't understand where it came from. And we work with a lot of sensitive beings out there. But have you ever had that happen? Even if you don't consider yourself that sensitive, where you don't really know where that off feeling came from or that mood swept into you. It doesn't seem that anything bad happened to you or anything crappy that normally might throw you off. So, my dear friends and not belonging club members, I would say that there are three questions I ask myself when I'm being thrown off kilter, when life is just sending me sideways, or it feels like there's something other than what's in front of me that's happening that's kind of bugging me or making me feel overwhelmed. Here's what I do. I ask these three questions. I absolutely recommend that you steal these three questions from me and make them your own. All right? So the first one is this even mine? So oftentimes when I am off, so for instance, I was talking to a client yesterday, I had a coaching client yesterday, and she was feeling way off, and she was picking up on the anxiety of her dad and her mom. And I asked her to come way up, 100,000 feet, take her consciousness way up, and give it back to them. It wasn't even hers. And when she could see the situation from way, way, way up high, guess what? All of a sudden, things started to calm down. Her shoulders came down. It's not even yours. You can't do anything about something that isn't yours. So you might as well not have it in your body. So that's the first question. Second one is, you're going to think I'm crazy, or maybe you won't. But in early April, there were three massive solar flares that usually only one solar flare happens at a time, but there were three solar flares that happened on the sun. Photons from the sun, when there's a solar flare, emanate out into the universe and actually eventually about a day or two or three later hit planet Earth. And since we're electromagnetic beings and we're immersed in an electromagnetic field, we get affected. Our environment is entirely affected. So what happens is your body will feel off and you'll feel very sensitive and a little bit overwhelmed. And you'll find also that a lot of shifts and changes and a little bit of mayhem may happen around you. Odd choices, odd decisions by others, and odd requests because people aren't quite in their bodies. So you might want to go and check out from NASA whether there's been a solar flare. Not kidding. It affects us big time. By the way, that's when your computer will pooch. It's also when your phone will go off because they get affected by that too. It's a real thing. Next is that if there's a global event happening, even though, so some kind of odd global event that maybe you hadn't considered would affect you, something about maybe a potential war or something where some political leader somewhere did something that affected millions of people, or something where there was a tsunami. All of those things, we're all connected. So all of those things affect each other. So if you're particularly sensitive, and even if you're not, it does, all of those things call our hearts. They, in a fractal universe, in a universe where everything affects everything in a mathematical way, it also affects everything because everything is energy. So if millions of people are affected, the energetics of the entire planet are affected because we're all emanating biophotons, packages of light. We're emanating light packages that give off information about us. That's how instincts work. Well, those photons travel around the Earth 7 times in a second. So when something happens, of course, we're all affected, just like the solar flares. So understand that we're intricately connected to our environment, to other humans, and to those we love particularly, and oftentimes it's not ours. And what there is to do is the same thing. Come up 100,000 feet, take your consciousness way above it all. And instead of being a victim of it, see it all as back in harmony. See it all as at peace. Future projected as the end product of solutions have already showed up, and this is what the end, see it all as having the solution already appeared, but don't try to imagine the solution because consciousness has access to way more resources than you do. So allow consciousness to work out the how, but see it all as it can be in harmony, worked itself out, evolved to some higher understanding. All right? So that's a pretty juicy message, man. I'm gonna do that today. How about you?